Well, Rebecca told you a lot of what was in my speech, so I hope this won't be too repetitive. When she asked me to speak last year about why Ron and I decided to support a scholarship for nursing students, I was having my cataracts out, so I couldn't do it last year. So I've had a year to think about this speech. Trust me, that doesn't do anything to make you less nervous. So there are probably a lot of reasons why Ron and I decided to provide a scholarship for nursing students. But there are a few that are particularly important. First is our belief, obviously, in the importance of education and our regard and our affection for this college. When we decided to move from the Detroit area in 1970, we looked around the state for places that met a list of criteria. The place that we wanted to move to had to have good schools for our children, a comprehensive hospital, a nursing school, and a job for my husband, obviously, and particularly good fishing. That was his requirement. Traverse City filled all of those requirements. My husband found a position as a school psychologist with the intermediate district, and after working midnights at Munson, where everybody started, I was able to find a position as a clinical faculty member here at NMC. As a member of the faculty, and later on as the director of the Health Occupations Division, I was impressed by the quality of the faculty here in all of the programs, and by the quality of the student body. So many of them work so hard to meet the requirements of their various educational programs. In nursing particularly, many people work full-time and traveled long distances, and somehow were still always able to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning for their clinical experience. In addition to those experiences, my children and I have taken classes here at NMC. And so the college has been a very important part of the life we've experienced here. Second is my experience as a scholarship recipient. I knew when I was 4 years old, unlike Isaac, that I wanted to be a nurse. And this was because in my doctor's office, this beautiful lady worked. She was kind, she wore a lovely white dress, and she had beautiful blonde hair. And so at 4, I wanted to be just like her. As it turned out, she wasn't a nurse, and the blonde hair was not hers either. But that didn't make any difference. When it came time for me in 1956 to graduate from high school, I knew that I wanted to go to a university because I loved English and humanities so much, and I didn't think that the hospital programs would likely be able to provide that. My parents didn't have a lot of money, and so they were not going to be able to support my attendance in college. But fortunately, the chemistry teachers at my high school were very active in finding scholarship opportunities for students. And I was lucky enough to win 2 scholarships. One was for $1,000, which doesn't seem like very much money, but then it was an enormous amount of money. And one was for $300, which was the fee that most nursing schools or most hospital schools charged for their program. That $1,000 then paid for all of my tuition for 4 years and a summer session at 18 credits a term. So you can see that was long, long ago. The $300 paid for my uniforms and all my books, and now I know that there's some books that are $300 a crack. That support made a huge difference. I still worked for all of the other things that I needed. But I never experienced the level of pressure that some students did without that support. I've always been grateful for those scholarships and for the teachers who encouraged me and my classmates to apply for them. I wish that all students could experience that kind of support. Third, providing funds for this scholarship is a way to have a choice in what to do with our money. When we were young and I was on the faculty and running after a couple of kids and all the rest, we didn't have extra money to spend. But now that we are old, we're able to have the joy of providing some funds that may positively affect someone else's life. We're not averse to paying our share of taxes, but given the choice, it's kind of nice to know that we can provide money in our local area, not some far-flung distance, to promote something that is dear to us, and that is education for the next generation. Fourth, and maybe the most important reason, is that the programs here affect our community. Ron and I, my husband, have been blessed with really pretty good health. But we know that, as a pediatrician said to me the other day, we're just one doctor's office visit away from catastrophe. And part of what makes this community a good place to live in is the high quality of health care that's available to us. And nurses are critical to that level of health care. For purely selfish reasons, we want to ensure that good nurses are available when we need them and when our neighbors need them. We could donate to the school from the school that I attended, where I had that scholarship, and we have. But this is our community. And we want to ensure that it continues to be the kind of place we found when we moved here. We regard our support for this scholarship not as altruism at all, but as an investment in our community for its future and for ours. So that's why we endow a scholarship. Affection for the college, a recognition of the importance of education, remembrance of what a scholarship meant, and as an investment in students whose learning will contribute to what makes this community an exceptional place to live. Most of all, we are grateful. We are grateful for the faculty. We are grateful for the students. We're grateful for this college that makes this community an exceptional place to live. Thank you.